Hi and welcome to this vlog post. I'm narrator Rebecca McKernan and today I'm really excited to share today's book with you. It's the second in Patrick Hodges' series, The Wielders of Arantha. The first book I really enjoyed producing. The second book I've enjoyed even more, and I was so pleased to read it and discover that Patrick didn't suffer with that awkward second album syndrome, as happens in so many trilogies. In my opinion, actually, the second book is even better than the first. So listen to the first book, Pawns, and then check out this book, Queens, the next in the series. The third book, Endgame, will be underway quite soon. So hopefully by the end of the year, you'll be able to listen to all three. Aren't you lucky? Anyway, today, excuse me reading off of my phone, I will share with you the second in the trilogy, Queens. This is the back of the book. A cosmic game of chess is underway, and the planet Elystra is the board. Earth pilot Maeve and her son Davin have joined the Extrayu, hoping to avert the destruction that their leader, Keelia, has foretold. But will Maeve's burgeoning wielding powers be enough to thwart the That's not easy to say. Thwart the machinations of Elzor and his lightning-wielding sister, Elzaria, before everything the Extrayu have ever known is destroyed in Elzor's quest for ultimate power. Queens is part 2 in the Wielders of Arantha trilogy. If you love science fiction or fantasy, then this series will thrill and enthrall you. Sorry, I seem to be struggling getting my words out today. Might have to play this extra slow to pick them apart. I'll read you the first couple of pages, although I'll let you know that actually the audio sample that you can check out on Audible or Amazon is a different section to what I'm going to read to you. I'm just going to read you the first few pages. If you want to go straight into the action, check out the free sample that you can listen to online. Okay, I'll start talking now. Chapter 1. 18 days ago. A man whose posture, rumpled clothes and scruffy beard gave him the appearance of one much older than his 38 years sat at the main computer console. His ginger hair bore streaks of grey, and the eyeglasses that usually clung to his face now perched precariously on the tip of his nose. Though he kept a watchful eye on the vast bank of monitors that scanned the sands of the Sahara Desert, 500 miles in every direction, his attention remained primarily fixed on the screen in front of him. His own image filled the screen, staring back at him as he spoke into a tiny microphone. "You're the strongest woman I've ever known, Maeve. Whatever is about to happen, I know you're going to kick ass. Win this game. For humanity." Then he shut off the recording. Feeling the sting of fatigue behind his eyes, he removed his glasses and set them on the console. "One down, one to go," he muttered to himself. He heard a shuffle of footsteps and turned around to see a young, olive-skinned man in a blue jumpsuit standing in the security office's doorway. A short yet thick beard and moustache covered the bottom half of his face, and his piercing brown eyes were far more alert than they should have been, given the late hour. "Hey, Richard, mind if I join you?" Sahara Base had been built decades earlier as an R&D lab for the purpose of exploring propulsion methods that exceeded even supralight capabilities, one of the Terran Confederation's best-kept secrets. Though designed to house several hundred personnel, only 10 people lived there now. Richard waved the man in. "Come on in, Mahesh. I just made some coffee. Help yourself." Mahesh sat in the chair opposite Richard. "No, thanks. I'll stick to tea. Besides, we packed the synthesizer yesterday, which can only mean you brewed the coffee yourself. And no offense, Richard, but your coffee could strip the paint off a starship." "Screw you," Richard said with a sardonic smile. "Besides, I got just the thing to make it taste better." Mahesh gave him a bemused smile. "Drain cleaner?" Richard opened a nearby drawer and pulled out a small flask, waggling it in front of his friend. 18-year-old Scotch. 2719 was a very good year. Pass. If I come back to the room with that on my breath, Suri will read me the riot act." "Suit yourself." Richard unscrewed the top of the flask and took a swig, throwing it back with a satisfied exhale. Is everything prepared? Yes. Mahesh scooted his chair forward until it rested only a few feet away from Richard's. Is there any way I can talk you into coming with us? 5 years before, Earth had been invaded by the Jeg, an insectoid race whose vastly superior technology made short work of the Confederation's defenses. 9 billion people, more than half of humanity, were wiped out. Richard, his wife and son, and the rest of his engineering team escaped subjugation by sealing themselves inside Sahara Base. They'd reasoned that even if the Jeg knew of the base's existence, their small team posed no semblance of a threat, and therefore left them alone. They were wrong. Richard's breath hitched at his friend's concern. Someone has to be here to make sure the Talon gets away safely, to say nothing of activating the base's self-destruct. It doesn't have to be you. Yes, it does. Is that what Banneker said? In so many words. Mahesh folded his arms across his chest. I'm not buying it. Richard drew himself up. Excuse me? This mission has been 2 years in the making. Have you ever wondered why the rest of us, who have never so much as laid eyes on this mysterious trans-dimensional being who has been influencing your decisions since childhood, follow your instruction without question? Richard shrugged. Because the Jeg have had us farked 12 ways from Sunday since the day they dropped from the sky? Well, there is that, of course, but there's more to it. What are you talking about? Mahesh stared at the ground. People have believed in a higher power for thousands of years, Richard. Whether they call that higher power Jehovah, or Vishnu, or Allah, or Banneker, it doesn't matter. When things are at their most hopeless, sometimes all a person has is his faith. He raised his head again. For the last 2 years, I've watched you feed this team information you couldn't have gotten from any human source. Catching sight of Richard's raised eyebrows, Mahesh held his hands out, palms up. Believe me, things would have gone so much smoother if Banneker had decided to include the entire group in his briefings instead of insisting on appearing to you exclusively. God works in mysterious ways, and for whatever reason, he chose you as his messenger. As a man of faith, it's not my place to question that. I've got no page breaks reading off of my phone, so I'm just going to stop there because potentially I could go on for another half an hour and that would just take too long to upload. That was the first couple of pages, I'm assuming, from Patrick Hodges' second book in the Wielders of Arantha trilogy. It's called Queens, and it's really, really good. So I would recommend that, I don't know when I'm going to post this, but in the next couple of days, maybe over the next weekend, you log on to Audible, Amazon or iTunes and download Pawns, and then as soon as you're finished listening to that, download Queens. You won't regret it. I mean, I can't vouch for the third book, but the second one's really good, as is the first. I'm going to stop talking now. Sorry, Patrick, I know the third book's going to be amazing as well, as will the prequel, which is also coming soon. I think that's all I've got to say today. You can find those books on Audible, Amazon and iTunes. You can find me, Rebecca McKernan, on RebeccaMcKernan.com and at Facebook and Twitter at Becca Tells Tales. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Mwah.